1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Rebellion.
Rebellion is built on hope.
And redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Well, hello everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to another long time overdue episode, I should say, of Star Wars Reactions. We are so excited to be back. So is Chopper. We're excited to be back. We got a great show planned for you. And let's get things started. My name is Aaron Harris, and joining me, he is the Kanan Jarrus to my Ezra, the David Motters. David, brother, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, my friend. Yes, it's been a long time coming. We had hoped to get some stuff out in December. If all of you saw Aaron's, some of his Twitter posts, and he did a video for us, just kind of updating everybody. He has been incredibly busy with a big move, a house move, and December was staggeringly busy. We ended up not putting anything out, but I'm so glad to be back on recording with you, Aaron, and I'm ready to react.
Me too. Thank you. It is so good to be back behind the mic. I can say that honestly. And I do want to apologize to everybody that we didn't get stuff out like we had planned. We actually had like 3 or 4 episodes planned for the end of November and December that we didn't get to put out. So they're still going to come out. They're just on the back burner for another time and another place. So we appreciate you hanging with us and chilling while we got everything settled. I mean, we had our big move, and like with most things, when you move, things just don't go the way they need to, and that's what's happened in this case. Matter of fact, I am sitting in what will soon be the new Star Wars Reactions studio. It is currently a half renovated garage. I'll post a picture of that because it is kind of humorous the way everything is set up. The workers left one of their ladders, and I'm using their ladders as a shelf to put stuff on so I can record. It's kind of humorous, but yeah, it's good to be back, and it's good to be talking with you again, David. It has been a long time. Did you have a good holiday season?
We did, yeah. Super busy. Not just holidays. Part of the challenge was my son had numerous basketball games on various nights. Plus, my daughter had her big ballet performance on December 11th and 12th, and that went great. She did awesome. Eli's been doing really well in basketball. So really kind of doing, what you and I have talked about from the very beginning is, putting our families first and spending time with them, and then making this happen, as appropriate. And so we've always done that. And so, yeah, it was a really good December, an incredibly busy December. I do wish that we could have recorded a little bit more because you and I have so much fun with it. At the same time, just recharged and was really looking forward to recording tonight and getting back at it. Did you have a good holiday season and Christmas and all that?
Christmas went very well. Had a great Christmas time with the family and everything, and New Year's was more of a blur. If y'all follow me on Twitter, y'all know it's been crazy with trying to help out my best friend over New Year's. You know Robbie, yep. David. Oh yeah. His family has been through. Been to hell and back since New Year's. Over New Year's, he is. If y'all aren't aware, just a quick recap: his son had a seizure and almost drowned and was in the hospital for a week. Then, while his son was in the hospital, we live in Central Florida, and he was flown all the way over to Tampa, which is about an hour away, to the hospital there. And while he was in the hospital there, his wife, who was 8 months pregnant, blood pressure shot up, and they ended up having to deliver the baby early. So my friend Robbie is in the hospital in Tampa with his son. His wife just gave birth to another child, and his other kids were split amongst us and our house and other family members. And I was house sitting at their house watching their dog. So I can honestly say this was the first New Year's I have spent by myself since I got married.
Wow.
Yeah. So I will say this, it did give me an opportunity to watch a lot more bowl games than I ever would have watched if I was at home.
Right. That's right.
So, but fortunately, everybody's back at home now. My friend Robbie's son's back home, Jacob's home, and his wife and the baby are doing great. And they came home last night, and it is good to have them all back where they all belong, and they can continue the long road of recovery and adjustment with a new family member. So,
man, that is good news, buddy.
Yes, it was a stressful time. So, but they're doing well. I'm happy to get them back, and we'll have a great time with them. And as if anything else comes up, I'll share it. But they're doing good. I'm glad that everything's back together for them. We all can breathe a sigh of relief.
Nice.
So, but. So we don't have, a lot of news. There's been a lot of news that's happened probably in the month or so that we were out of touch. And there was just a lot of things happening that we probably missed touching on. And we're really not going to go back and try to recap everything that happened while we were out. This is not feasible. But we do have some great things going forward. We're going to get back into doing our shows again. We got the Book of Boba Fett, which we're going to start reviewing episode 1 or chapter 1 today, which we got. But if you follow us on social media, you notice January 1st of 2022, something new began. We started a brand new social media. I guess you call it a social media campaign, but we're trying to interact with everybody more via our social media. So we have set up, of course, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, but we set up topics for every day of the week. And every day of the week we'll have a topic for that day, and you'll see posts related to that. For example, and I'll just run through the list here. On Mondays will be Moons and More Mondays, which basically will be talking about planets, showing pictures of planets and different things throughout the moons throughout the Star Wars saga. Trading Card Tuesdays, we got a lot of trading cards we're going to share and show y'all. I know David spent tons of hours taking photos of his collection of the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back cards to share, and got some great things coming out then. Who's Who Wednesday is going to be a fun one. That's basically when we just sit back and we pick a character from the saga, and we are posting pictures and information about them. Creature Corner Thursday, where we just talk about the different creatures and aliens throughout the Star Wars saga. Fun Fact Friday just random fun facts about Star Wars, random facts about characters or about ships or about anything. It will happen that Friday. Maybe even some cool behind the scenes fun facts. You never know. So that's coming up. I got a lot of looking forward to that. Then, of course, on Saturdays is Ships of the Saga, where we just basically are looking at the different ships they have in the Star Wars saga, whether it's just a type of ship like the X-Wing, which is what we did this past Saturday on January 1st, or whether it's a whole barrage of photos of the Ghost. You never know what will happen on Ships of the Saga Saturday. So a lot of great things going, and we kicked it off. We did. We're recording this on January 3rd. Now, of course, you may have noticed I did not mention Sundays. Sundays is no topic day. That's basically like Chick-fil-A. It's a day of rest. We're not doing anything that day. But we're recording this, which is on a Monday, January 3rd. Today was Moons and More Monday, and we posted photos of Tatooine and talked about Tatooine. So it's going to be a lot of fun going forward. And I'm so far we've been seeing a lot of great feedback just on these 2 days that we've done. So it's going to be great.
I love it, buddy. You've really put it together, and I've tried to contribute where I can, and there's more. I definitely want to help with the fun fact Fridays, some of those little trivia things, but I really enjoyed on Saturday, January 1st, New Year's Day. You had the X-Wing, and then of course nothing on Sunday, but then today you had for Moons and More Tatooine. That's the way to start with the classics. So those it's really cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's something fun to do, to just kind of engage you, the listener, and to just have fun with Star Wars. We want one thing we've always said, we've wanted to be this to be a fun, positive experience, and we just thought this would be another step in that direction, and so far it has been. So it's great. So look forward to that. Keep checking our social medias. If you're not following us on social media, hit us up. Facebook, it's SW Reactions. On same for Instagram, SW Reactions. Then Twitter, SW Reactions Pod. Give us a follow on all of those. We would love to have you on board with us on social media. It's going to be great all through 2022. So a lot of fun coming. Also, speaking of social media, if you have social media and follow me personally on my personal social media, you probably saw I got a new friend yesterday. And he has been quite the awesome friend, I should say. My sister was in town for the holidays and took a trip on New Year's Day to Galaxy's Edge. And I have to say I am quite jealous because she did beat me to the punch. She has ridden Rise of the Resistance before me, and I will probably never forgive her for that, especially since all she talked about was how awesome of a ride it was, which makes it even worse because she is not a Star Wars fan.
Oh, my God.
So that just kind of like, salt in the wound. But hey, so be it. But I can let that slide because she came home with Chopper. Disney released, they have the droid factory over there where you can build your own droid, but they also have some prefabricated droids that you can buy, like an R2 and stuff like that. They just released a couple months ago, starting in California, a Chopper. A pre-manufactured Chopper droid from Star Wars Rebels. Well, they just got them in Orlando, and she picked one up for me on New Year's Day. And oh my gosh, he is absolutely gorgeous.
I love the video you posted of your remote controlling chopper with your dogs and the one just barking. Which one was barking at?
That was Obi-Wan.
That was
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan.
Kenobi did not like Chopper.
That was a great video, dude.
Well, in Obi-Wan's defense, that video was taken after Chopper chased him all the way down the hall.
Jeez. How did Ahsoka do with
Ahsoka just
Chop?
Ahsoka just stayed away.
Okay.
She looked, she came up and sniffed, but as soon as he started swinging his head around with those claws out, she backed off.
Nice. Smart.
Yeah. Obi, not so smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to remove Chopper from the mix at that point because, Obi literally took his dome off. Had to put his dome
saw that.
on.
Yes, I saw that.
So he hasn't ridden around the house much after that, but he has been sitting on the table. But he's great. I mean, his head rotates. Of course, you can control him and drive him around. He's got the lights and sounds on the dome, and that light up. And then, of course, he talks. He's just stinking awesome. So it'd
be funny if that was Filoni.
I was wondering that.
If they just recorded or took it from the show because Filoni did the voice. Hey, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
You and I have been to Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
You and I have been in the Droid Depot.
Yes.
When your sister went there to get it, now is this a chopper that is pre-made hanging there on the pegs? Or, I remember seeing, boxes of different droids. Obviously, you can build ones. Is this one you build or it's pre-made?
No, this one is pre-made.
Okay.
Boxed up on a shelf, pre-made. You pick it up, scan it, and walk out the door with it.
Gotcha. That's what I thought. But I wanted to double check with you. Okay.
No, yeah, this one is all pre-made.
Okay.
Pre-made.
All
And
right.
he looks fantastic. And as we posted online, he is overseeing the show tonight.
That's right.
Keeping us on task. And he is staring me down saying, I need to move on. All right, boss, I'm listening. So, but yeah, it's going to be great going forward. So just stay with us as we go through 2022. I'm positive this is just going to be a fantastic year for the show. We got a lot of great stuff planned, and Chopper will be with us the whole way.
Nice.
So that was too devilish of a laugh. I don't know why I did that. So let's just go ahead and jump into our review because we got a great discussion today. We are going to be discussing first episode, the premiere of the Book of Boba Fett. That's a lot of B's. Book of Boba Fett. And so chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. And this is something we've been waiting for since The Mandalorian ended. Season 2 of The Mandalorian ended last year. So we've been waiting for this a while. And we finally got the premiere. It released December 29th, 2021. 2021. Great episode, written by Jon Favreau, directed by Robert Rodriguez. So, and it was a lot of fun. We got basically in the premiere episode of Book of Boba Fett, Boba begins meeting with the leaders of local businesses and crime businesses who follow Jabba when he was alive to gain their support as the head of the new crime syndicate. Some of them are indifferent to Boba being there. Others don't feel they should follow the Fett, which leads to confrontation with some hired thugs in the streets of the city. Throughout the episode, we are given a glimpse of what happened to Fett in the time from the time he fell in the Sarlacc pit through the present, through a series of flashbacks that he has while he's soaking in a bacta tank. So overall, great episode. Initially, when I first watched it, I'll be perfectly honest, when I first watched it, it didn't have that big bang episode to kick off like we had with Book of like The Mandalorian, or even with the Bad Batch, where we had this big explosive first episode. It was a very mild episode. It was a character driven story. It felt like it was setting stuff up for filling in holes in the story, which was really good to see. I love how they gave us the flashbacks to fill in those gaps. And I thought it was great too. I really loved that opening scene when he's in the back of the tank. He's having the flashbacks, and we see the scene from Attack of the Clones where Boba's on his knees in the Geonosis arena picking up. Holy snot! Chopper just went off again.
Yeah,
Let me
he's just like in the TV show, man. He'll surprise you. He'll mess with you.
Harabass. He's going to keep me on my toes. That's for sure. Oh man, dude, chill. Can we talk Book of Boba Fett? Okay, thanks. But that scene where he kind of picks up Django's helmet and kind of leans his head in for it with Daniel Logan there. I loved how they incorporated that into his flashback and kind of bridged that gap as to letting you know this is the same character. It was just perfect for me in that. The scenes with the Tusken Raiders I felt were a little slow and drug out. And to me, they had a very, Castaway type feel, Tom Hanks movie Castaway, where there was very little dialogue, and those scenes had like almost no dialogue, so it was very, very Castaway feeling to me. But overall, I thought it was a good episode. It accomplished, I think, what their goal was it left me satisfied with the gaps they filled, but it left me wanting more because there's no clear cut. It left us with no clear cut definition of where the story was going, and I that intrigues me. So overall, I liked it. What were your initial thoughts, David, after watching this episode?
Yeah, like I watched. Well, the night before on the 28th, I was sitting there. It was Tuesday night, and I was kind of like, wait a minute, I'm going to go back and watch. Some chapters, some episodes of The Mandalorian season 2, and so I did that, and so then early in the morning of the 29th, I watched it. Wasn't spoiled, didn't turn it on any social media or anything like that. So I watched it, all 37, 38, 39 minutes, and I wasn't overly impressed with the episode. I just was like, okay. And I think, look, many people have already done this, and it's natural for them to do it. I did it. Is I compared it to the first episode of The Mandalorian. I did. I immediately thought about that, and the child, as you and I know, buddy, and every Star Wars fan knows this, the child was a huge, huge reveal. And this episode didn't have anything like that. And so, again, watching season 2, chapter 14, the tragedy, and after Boba Fett gets his armor out of Mando's ship just before it's blown up, he has this awesome entrance. It's the entrance, and just kicks butt with Fennec Shand and the Mandalorian, with all those stormtroopers coming at them. That was the entrance.
Yeah.
So this was a bit of step back. Now again, I wrote my initial thoughts, separate from you, and they do meld with yours, which is I do understand what they were trying to do, the creative crew, in setting up bigger things to come, right? They're giving backstory, all that, and the reveals and kind of how did he get out of the Sarlacc pit and so on. And I enjoyed all that, and that's all good, all understandable. And just like you, I am interested. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the series, and I'm really curious to see where it goes overall, and with Boba Fett, because that wasn't answered, which is great. So I want more. I'm coming back for more. So yeah. So I think mine were pretty similar to yours, and I get a sense it was when I've listened to some other Star Wars podcasts, and it sounds pretty similar for people, pretty consistent across the board. But I'm looking forward to the next one here coming up in a couple days.
Oh, exactly. I know episode 2 is coming out soon, so we'll be reviewing that after it does. But I like how you said you compared it to the first episode of The Mandalorian. It didn't have that big reveal like The Child. With live action Star Wars, Mandalorian is all we've had until Book of Boba Fett. So when it comes to a TV show, live action TV show.
That's right.
So everybody's going to compare the first episode to that first episode of The Mandalorian, where you have that big reveal. And unfortunately, a character like The Child I'm going to tell you, it's probably a once in a lifetime reveal. You probably won't get another reveal like that in Star Wars for a very long time, if ever. Because to have that kind of impact that The Child did is rare for a brand new character just pop up like that and have that kind of shock and awe, I would say, in there. Even some of the more popular characters to date in the Star Wars never got the kind of reception that The Child got. Look at Ahsoka. Everybody hated Ahsoka when she first appeared on the scene. Now she's one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars. So, it's almost an injustice, I would think, comparing the first episode of Boba Fett, Book of Boba, to the first episode of Mandalorian, because to me, it's almost like a completely different reveal. The Child is just not going to the premiere of the debut of The Child is you could have brought back the entire cast of the original trilogy to do a song and dance number in the premiere Book of Boba Fett, and it would have had the same reaction that Baby Yoda got. So
that's right. You're very well said.
It's a different beast. Now, with that being said, that doesn't make this any less good than the premiere of The Mandalorian. I really enjoyed this episode. It was very informative, and it was a character building piece. But like I said, for a premiere, it ran a little slow.
Yeah,
no way around that. So, but let's keep going here. And I think I mentioned this in my opening story, and I know you opening reactions, and you mentioned it in yours. Where's the story taking us?
Well, I did. I definitely want to talk about this, and you and I, put down things that we want to look at. One of the things that, again, and I don't, there's so many podcasts, and everybody has a comment on every Star Wars thing that comes out. But I one of the things that I was thinking, Aaron, that might be maybe a little unique when it comes to looking at Boba Fett's arc, and you and I've said it, we don't know where it's going. We don't know his motivation behind wanting to take over, what Jabba had, and what Bib Fortuna was running for 4 or 5 years. But this is something that I haven't heard on any other podcast that I've listened to, which is we in mythology, and Dan talks about this a lot on Coffee with Kenobi, Dan Z, is there's this idea of going into the belly of the whale, and the transformational aspect that occurs there. And with Return of the Jedi, for years looking at that since 1983, I've never really thought of the Sarlacc pit like that. But it almost feels, Aaron, like what the writers are doing is using the Sarlacc pit as a way to kind of start this arc, which is he's going to be different, not necessarily a bounty hunter. He's going to do it differently than Jabba, and he talks about it as he's walking in the streets there of Mos Espa, I think, with Fennec Shand, that he's going to do things differently. And it'll be interesting to see in these next episodes how this continues, right? He doesn't want to rule with fear. He wants to rule with respect. How much is this going to transform him? I have to admit, when I was a kid seeing, The Empire Strikes Back in 1980, I thought of Boba Fett as a bad guy. You're taking Han Solo away. Now I look back on it and I'm like, well, he's not on the Sith. He's not Emperor Palpatine. He's not Darth Vader. He's not the Empire. He's a bounty hunter trying to make some money, And we see the Mandalorian freezing people, right? Putting them in carbon freeze, statues and taking them back to Apollo Creed, right? Back to Grief Karga. So I kind of guess back up and say, well, okay, he's a bounty hunter, but now are they going to work on, again, transformationally, him being nicer? Is that going to occur or whatever? Now, here's the thing I thought about. If you don't, right? I mean, he has to have an arc. Then what's the point of telling the story, right? We want to see an arc. We want to see character development. So I just wanted to share that a bit and just add a few more questions in terms of how nice are they going to make him? Are they not? I don't know. But like I said in my initial comments, it'll be interesting to see where the creative team wants to take the character of Boba Fett.
Yeah, and that's where I want to see as well, because it's very, everybody had Boba Fett built up in their mind from Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. He was this kick butt bounty hunter, mysterious, just money, there for the money, there for the score, and they had this vision in your head, and then you alter the vision a little bit when you find out he's a clone in the prequels and in the Clone Wars. You alter it, but he's still this mysterious bad dude that is just he's gonna shoot first and take you in later, type of deal. And this is the character we see in this episode doesn't fit in that box. He's playing more the role of I don't know, almost feels more like a diplomat. If we were getting more of a Padme show, but it's different. He doesn't have that same edge that he did in Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back, or even in The Mandalorian. When we saw him there, it almost feels like he's toned down a little bit, and I don't know if I like that.
Agreed. Yeah, it's all of us, for many years have built up, who this character is, and so I'm curious to see again how this plays out and how Star Wars fans react to how his character changes.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, really, to see how that happens. And with Boba Fett, where they tailor him, where this takes Fennec Shan too, because she's right there with him, tagging right along. There's just uh, too much unanswered questions, and they have very little time to try to answer them too. I mean, we're looking at an 8-episode arc here that we're already down 1 episode in, that they're doing, and from what we understand, that's only supposed to be a 1-season deal. It's not supposed to be it's a limited series, is I think what they called it. There's not supposed to be additional seasons, from what I understand. So it'd be interesting to see how they do this in the next 7 episodes.
Yeah. With her, again, going back to those episodes in The Mandalorian, I love how they introduced her. I was going back thinking about it, Aaron. We see Mandalorian, and what is it? I'm trying to remember that young bounty hunter that he's in over his head. I don't know, Toro something. I can see the guy's face. I can see the actor, all that. But they're shooting across the sand dunes there on Tatooine, and she's shooting down at them. And then, they get into fisticuffs and so on and so forth, and they capture her. But that was a really neat intro to her character, where, in this one, again, they didn't have to do it, right, for Boba Fett or her.
Correct.
We get some backstory for Fennec when she's younger. We see her battle Cad Bane, right, in the Bad Batch, and so on. So that was pretty cool. But, yeah, where do you take her? Does she just stay kind of like a BA character, like Boba Fett? Does she show mercy or not? The first episode, definitely not. She was, willing to kill the mayor's major domo, right?
Yep.
The guy who's completely annoying, and so on. But again, same with Boba Fett. Are they going to have her grow in certain ways, become more ruthless, nicer? Again, it's curious to see, how far do you go? How much do you change Boba Fett and Fennec Shan?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, and it's it's one of those things we just got to wait and see at this point. It's kind of crazy. Moving on, there's a scene in this episode that I found really interesting. And it's during one of the flashback scenes, you would call it, one of his flashbacks, where he's out with the Sand People. He's being held captive by them, and he's with a young sand person, a young Tusken Raider. And this creature just comes up out of the sand and is just, terrifying. It's of course it's up to Boba Fett, who actually ends up killing the creature and taking its head. And that's what gets him in good with the Tuskens at that point. You see that the lead Tusken Raider give him some water at that point from his own cup. It's a very unique, almost like a rite of passage for him. And it reminded me a lot of the episode of The Mandalorian where he goes and faces the Mudhorn to get the egg to getting good with the Jawas. Did that remind you of that at all, or was that just me going off the deep end there?
No, I really like that. I hadn't thought about that until, again, you and I put show notes together. You put stuff in, I put stuff in, and when I read that, I thought, man, that's a real good catch, a real similarity there, and I like that. I was curious to see how, when Fett was captured by them, how is this going to work? It does make me wonder how Mando got in good with them, and of course he can do the sign language with them. Fett didn't know how to do that, so that was a definite disadvantage. But I thought that was a real good similarity there. Probably because I would say maybe because it comes from Jon Favreau, right? From his mind, both. He's written most of these episodes for both shows.
Yeah. Yeah, same great mind creating both. You're going to have some similarity, I guess. So
Right.
that works. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap up this discussion here. David, why don't you go ahead and share your final thoughts on Chapter 1 of the Book of Boba Fett, Stranger in a Strange Land?
Absolutely. And consistent with what you and I talked about in initial thoughts, I am excited to see where this series goes. I want to know what Boba Fett's end goal is, in taking over the Hutt cartel, right? That crime syndicate. I want to see where they take Fennec Shand. And I want to see where Boba Fett ends up, him character-wise. Not just his end goal in taking over, but where he ends up character-wise by the end of this series. And, in Filoni we trust, right? With him and Favreau, considering The Mandalorian and what they have done with Star Wars, and of course, Dave Filoni with Rebels and with Clone Wars, I'm confident that they're going to really deliver. Plus, something we haven't talked about a lot here is, Robert Rodriguez he's been interviewed, quite a bit, and he says, listen, what we do with this, limited series, as you mentioned, Aaron, he says he says people are going to be blown away. A lot of times you don't hear people talking things up that big, right? You don't want to overhype it and then you don't deliver. But he felt confident in doing that, and he's the one who did direct the tragedy, and I thought he did a great job introducing Boba Fett there. And so, I really think that Favreau and Filoni and Rodriguez are going to really deliver here, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it happens. Like you said, in Filoni we trust. Someone ought to write it up. I pledge allegiance to the Filoni and to the Star Wars he creates.
Right, that's right, buddy.
Tell me about it. Overall, I enjoyed this episode. Like I said, it was a background episode. It was a setup episode. It was that one episode you have that sets up what's going to happen for the rest of the story. It did have a lot of filling elements with the flashbacks and everything, but it's going to be. I'm looking forward to where it goes and what the ultimate goal of the series is. I'm just really excited to see what comes. Which like I said, it had some slow points, but it had some high points. Not a lot of action. You had a little bit, but not a lot. That whole little parkour scene that Fennec had chasing the thugs over the roofs and the stuff was a little much in my opinion, but it was still a good episode. Now, of course, as tradition goes, we do grade the episodes just like if we were in school. This isn't going to be any different. We're going to grade these on a scale, just like if you're in school, A, B, C, D, or if you're really naughty, an F. So, David, how did you grade Stranger in a Strange Land?
Yeah, for me it was a B. And again, taking in your final thoughts. I really like how you said it is background, it is setup. You and I know that that's what this is. It is a bit slow for a first one, and I think there was some stuff they could have done to spruce it up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be 8 episodes. You and I have talked about this with our coverage of Rebels, Clone Wars. We've covered Star Wars Resistance. There's the B episodes and there's the A episodes, and this one is a B, and the A episodes are to come. So again, taking in my initial thoughts, my final thoughts, as well as I really like your final thoughts here, and completely agree with them. That makes it a B for me.
Very good, very good. And I actually have to 100% agree with you because I graded it as a B as well. It was good. It just wasn't. It wasn't. It was good. It had a lot of great stuff in it. Ran a little slow, like I said. It wasn't perfect, or in the ballpark of perfect. So it was good, and I definitely would grade it a B. And of course, we want to hear from you, and let us know what you thought of Chapter 1 of Book of Boba Fett. How would you grade it? You can, of course, do that on any of our social media platforms, on, of course, Facebook or Instagram at SW Reactions, or on Twitter, SW Reactions Pod. Hop on there. Let us know what you think. How did you grade the episode? How would you grade it? What did you like? What didn't you like? Let us know. It'd be a fun discussion to have. So, so hit us up there. Let us know. Or you can, if you don't want to share it publicly, you can always direct message us on any of those platforms. Our DMs are open. Or, of course, you can always email us, show@starwarsreactions.com as well. So, perfect. So, David, do we have a psychology corner this week?
Well, we usually do, but this one, just because of time and the holidays and all that, we don't have one this week. But end of November, beginning of December, I did spend actually a staggering amount of time putting together, and I put it on social media. I put together a psychological profile of the Ronin, that character. The main character of Emma Camden's book, The Ronin, right, based on Star Wars Visions. And so I actually got a hold of her, asked her for some insights on some things that I needed. She was very helpful. And so I really, like I said, spent a lot of time putting that together. Aaron and I are going to find some time. We actually talked about it before we started recording. We will get that out to you, but I promised I would do it on some previous episodes. So I have put it all together. We just have to record it, and it's ready to rock and roll.
Very good, very good, perfect. So when that does come out, and when they're ready to release that, we will let you know, so you know when to be looking forward to that, because I think there's so much great stuff in there. I've looked over the show notes. David went above and beyond for that that profile there, so y'all will love it. So, David, if somebody has questions for you or wants to talk Star Wars, how would they go about doing that, my friend?
Yeah, 3 different places. As always, Twitter, it's at David_Modders, MODDERS. There's email. It's david@starwarsreactions.com. And then there's Instagram. Just look my name up, David Modders, and you'll see some Star Wars pictures there. I need to add more, and I'll put some there pretty soon.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Of course, if you do want to talk Star Wars with me, the best place to do that is Twitter at TAHarris121079. Check it out there. Or, of course, you can email me, Aaron at StarWarsReactions.com as well. Either way, I'll get back with you. It's going to be great. And, of course, David, it just wouldn't be Star Wars Reactions if I didn't have a dad joke of the week.
Well, no, it wouldn't be the same. Thank you for your kind words about, I know, you've looked at the profile I put together, and I will say this, Aaron does spend the time trying to find dad jokes of the week that fit with the topic we covered, and this one does do just that.
Oh, well, we got a good one for you this week. I hunted high and low for this. So are you ready, David?
I am ready.
All right. What did Jango Fett do when the restaurant ran out of his favorite drink?
I don't know. What did Jango Fett do when the restaurant ran out of his favorite drink?
He threw a Boba Fett.
That That's brutal, but awesome.
A Boba Fett. Yeah, show him that chain code.
He threw a Boba Fett.
Oh, Lord.
That's perfect, buddy. That's perfect.
Yes, it is. Perfect. Oh, buddy, this has been fun, my friend. It's been too long.
No doubt. We're gonna be much more regular here in January and getting stuff out to the listeners, and hopefully they'll really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us and for being patient with us through December as we went on that unexpected, I guess, delay, the leave of absence, whatever you want to call it. But we thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all are awesome people. Stay safe and blessed in 2022. We're praying for you. We love y'all. Y'all are awesome. This is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.